Then stop this. If you try to leave today, you will be held. And if you are disgraced,
Hello. Welcome back. After opening with a flashback that shows young Lady Mariko desperate to follow her family in death, the episode proper begins with Mariko, Lord Yabushige, and John Blackthorne's arrival in Osaka. The rascally Yabushige continues playing each side against the other to mixed results, while deepening his unlikely friendship with Blackthorne. Mariko, it soon becomes clear, is there on a very specific mission. Addressing the shocked Council of Regents, led by Lord Ishido but ruled by his fiancée, Lady Ochiba, Mariko declares her intention to leave the city the next morning, with Lord Toranaga's consorts and infant son in tow. Ishido comes up with procedural reasons to delay their departure, or at least he tries to, largely based on Mariko's own shockingly indecorous behavior in court. Proudly declaring herself the daughter of the disgraced Lord Eichai Jinsai and heir to 1,000 years of samurai tradition, she declares, "I will never be captive, hostage, or confined. I am free to go as I please, as is anyone." She says this from the center of the frame, with her eyes pointed at the camera. The staging is clear, it all comes down to her. Mariko, acting in concert with Toranaga, has placed the rival lord in a terrible bind. If he refuses to allow Mariko and the ladies to leave, then he's shown to the nation that all the nobles and their families gathered in Osaka aren't his guests, but his hostages. As long as he holds so many lords and ladies, no one in Japan, including Toranaga, can rise against him. Ishido and Ochiba know how bad stopping Mariko's departure will look. They also know that she's right, that she and all the other nobles are hostages they badly need. Letting Mariko and company go will open the floodgates for everyone else. Two incredible sequences follow, demonstrating both Mariko's bravery and her determination to use her own death for a cause. TTO, walk into a sword just to prove the blade is sharp, as Blackthorne despairingly puts it. First, she uses her warrior training to personally lead a battle against Ishido's guards at the gate. As an audience of nobles and their retinues gaze down from the rooftops, a screeching, exhausted Mariko swings her naginata against a phalanx of spear-wielding soldiers, forbidden from harming her, but also from letting her pass. Finally, the lady gives up. Since she cannot obey her lord's instructions to return to Edo with his family, she also cannot live with the offense of failing him. She will kill herself at sunset, she announces. Since Mariko is Christian, this is a mortal sin, unless she can find a second willing to deliver the death blow. It's a grim honor that the Christian regent Lord Kiyama Hiramoto Ida refuses, despite his own beliefs. The lords are not yet ready to make a public break with Ishida and Ochiba, whose control of the air gives her incredible power. But Mariko's resolve gives her power of her own, a terrible sort of power. When Kiyama fails to show up at the ceremony to serve as her second, her ultimate reward for all this suffering seems to be the damnation of her immortal